Alright, another audition done. Man, I've been on a roll these past couple of weeks. Okay, just need to cut and send that one in. Then I gotta do laundry, get some groceries. I feel like I'm forgetting something.
I believe our next intro is now going to be Mr. Eldurrino.
We'll see. I am pretty good about drumming up ideas at the last moment, and they usually end up turning out really well. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, Grim as Alfred is always awesome.
And I fucking forgot to do the intro. Great. Well, that's okay. I'll just rehash one of the ones I've already done. I'll just label it as a reboot or something. People go for that still, right? So here you go, Cold Read listeners. Reboot time!
Alfred, do you read?
Loud and clear, sir.
I'm sending over some intel that I managed to snag from Gotham PD. It's in regards to a new possible threat.
And who might that be?
His name is Edward Ligma. He's a crime lord that specializes in puzzles and conundrums, who goes by the code name The Diddler.
Ligma, sir.
Ligma. Balls. Got him.
Sir, as I've mentioned before, maybe you should leave the jokes to the experts.
And who would you suggest, Alfred?
Hello, Bats. Miss me?
Joker.
Pardon the interruption between you and your lover, but I couldn't help but overhear that you were trying to understand comedy. Well, who better to teach you than the Clown Prince himself?
This better not be one of your tricks.
Have a little faith in your best friend. Now, where to begin? Oh, I know. What did the five fingers say to the face?
I don't know. What did the five fingers say to the face?
Nothing, you buffoon. Fingers can't talk.
That wasn't funny at all.
Well, of course not. That is called anti-humor. It's an art style of saying something that is so painfully unfunny that the result is itself funny. Let's try another one. What is green and has 4 wheels?
The Batmobile after you've stolen it?
Grass. I lied about the wheels.
Damn you, Joker. You will pay for your deceit.
Oh, lighten up, Batsy. That one was hilarious. All right. I'll give you a softball. What travels down an alley and has holes in it?
My parents?
Dear God, no, it was a bowling ball. Bats, I'm sorry. Though maybe I should change the punchline to that instead.
So you're saying I'm funny?
Well, okay, sure. Good one, Caped Crusader. Ha ha ha. That was a very good joke.
I know. I'm hysterical.
Well, Mr. Bighead. Why don't you try one on me?
Fine. What do you get when you gather 4 voice actors together and have them discuss topics relevant to their future careers?
I'm not sure, Batbrain. What do you get?
You get Cold Read, a voice actors podcast. A show designed to help fellow voice actors pursue their ambitions through the means of advice and positive reinforcement.
You still have quite a bit of work to do, my friend. That was terrible.
Fine, let me try again. You get a traumatizing experience, similar to watching your family die before your very eyes.
I'm just going to leave, Brucey. People to maim, places to burn.
You get me fucking your mother.
Okay, that's enough. Toodaloo!
Still got it.
Welcome, everybody.
what can I say? I mean, as always,
It's a classic.
It's a classic, yes. Like I said, I love Grimm as Alfred. Alfred is, Grimm's really good at that one, but the joke always gets me. Dorino,
I
goddamn.
completely forgot about the dead parent's joke.
Oh, God.
So good.
Surprise again.
So good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cold Read the Podcast. Thank you to those that are here in person or during the recording, or if you're watching this on YouTube or anywhere where you get your podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Our goal, as mentioned during it, is for us to be able to talk about our experiences. We meet people as we go along, and then hopefully, you learn from the things that we've done and the mistakes that have happened to us, or the mistakes that we've done. So, welcome group. Thanks so much for being here. Yeah. Thank you so much. I see Meg Morton and Poppy already here. Thank you so much. So we're just gonna jump right in, and we're gonna check in, see how everybody is doing. So let's check in on the other side of the world, and I will ask Miss Renara Hawke, how has your week been?
I feel at the moment I feel like it's more than good at the minute. No, work has become not unbearable, but it's COVID's hit the school quite a lot. So we've got quite a few teachers off at the minute, and so the weight has fallen upon us teaching assistants, and suddenly the sort of like amount of students we are working with has now increased like tenfold. So very stretched thin. Voice acting wise, I have tried to just keep doing small bits and pieces everywhere I can, because actually doing lines and doing auditions just had no go this week. I have not been able to, because I've just been like crashing. Yeah. So I got my demo reel properly up, like the video and everything. That's sorted. Yes, it nearly destroyed my computer, but no, it's still working. We're there. It's fine. Half the USB ports don't work on it anymore, but we're still there, and I can still plug in the camera, so that's fine. Chapter 4's audio has been, I managed to finish, so I'm now doing the actual video for that now. I have written more of my book because I've had the time to do that.
Nice.
I think that's it. Yeah. And we'll be getting onto the inscription project that Mattman has been doing.
You mean the secret
tomorrow.
Project that he's been working on? Yeah. The unknown
the little
thing
secret
project?
thing. I can't remember how much I'm allowed to talk about it.
There you go.
I've just said those bits there. It's been a week, guys. I don't know. I've forgotten half the stuff. I don't know.
It's okay.
I never signed an NDR.
It's okay. I'm too lazy to edit it out anyway, so it's going to go live anyway. Yeah, you're fine.
Oh, no, he's going to kill me.
Everyone listen to this, no problem.
Okay. Well, hopefully by the time this goes out, it's finished, so...
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Alright, but there, right, I'm gonna shut up before I
You're fine,
dig
you're
myself into a
fine.
Tom Holland hole and just keep making it worse. So, moving on!
Yeah, he's terrible at keeping secrets for Disney.
Oh, yeah. That's a reference I don't understand.
All right, well, thank you, Renara. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Sorry you had a rough week, and hopefully we can make it a little easier by talking to you. So, Misty, how are you doing today?
I am all right. I had a difficult week with my mic again, but hopefully now I bought a cable, as you guys saw earlier. So hopefully that should be the solution, and I won't have any more problems with my audio. I think that once I get that fixed, I'll be much more confident in going into the booth and recording. And I'm considering stuff that I want to do, like add in there, like maybe like foam panels, something to make it better. I just really want to make the effort this year because I can. And exciting news is that, well, I can't say fully anything just yet.
Don't get in trouble.
But yeah, like I did get a response back for a project I did a callback for. The whole story with this is really super nice because I auditioned for this podcast project last year, didn't make it the first time. And then they actually reached out in December, I believe it was, and was like, we're casting for our second season now. We were interested in, see if you would be interested in doing some callbacks for this. It's like, okay, cool. Thank you for remembering me. That's awesome. And it was during this whole crazy time at work where I was just completely overwhelmed with stuff, and I forgot I had a call back on that day exactly after I got off work because I stayed late doing stuff, and I felt terrible. I emailed them. I was like, I got super swamped with work. I had to leave really late. Is there a chance I can still do this? I heard back a few days later after I felt all was lost, and they gave me the chance.
Nice.
Yes, and so I did get the part, but I can't say much just yet.
You're doing better than me.
I'm just really happy. I'm super, super happy. So once they actually make the official announcement on social media is when I can say like what it is, what I was cast as. It's just a lot of fun. I'm really happy. I didn't think it would work out, and I'm
awesome.
super, super glad.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, only because I've been watching the stuff coming in from Voices 123. Anything from that side? I know you still have a membership there, right?
I audition when I can.
Okay. Just curious.
Like mostly today, I'm gonna do a couple because most of the auditions they sort of end the period when they're accepting auditions right before I get off work, so it's hard to audition during the week.
Yeah. I get it.
I'm still throwing myself out there. Hopefully something good comes out of it.
Good. Keep it up. Yeah. Awesome. Yes. Well, thanks for being here. Mr. Eldurrino, other than forgetting about the intro and coming into my stream with like an hour before.
Look, I was excited, all right?
Okay.
Similarly to Misty's situation, I got shortlisted for a pretty awesome role this week, in which I mentioned last week. It's so I'd be playing the role of Trunks, the character from Dragon Ball. If anyone's familiar with the Dragon Ball Abridged series, where they take the regular episodes and shorten them down and make them very hilarious, there's another group doing the same thing, but with the GT series. And so, I'm a huge fan of the Abridged series as it is. So I saw that come up and I was like, perfect. And then I put in my audition. The creator was like, you are the most accurate Trunks I think I've ever heard.
Ooh.
And like even other people who auditioned for that same role were all saying like, give it to Eldurrino instead.
Nice.
That's what you want.
And so they reached out to me a couple days ago and they're like, hey, I know I asked you to do retakes, but I'm not even gonna bother. Like you don't need it. Just like take a scene out of the script that we have for the second episode and record yourself doing it, and then we'll see that it still holds up. So
nice.
I did that earlier. I did that this morning, which is kind of, I was just excited about getting to do that I completely forgot that I was supposed to do an intro. So I rehashed an intro that talked about me forgetting to do an intro. Because the original one was me being obsessed with Back for Blood, and then I forgot
completely forgetting.
Anyways, yeah. So
well, congrats.
Thank you. Well, don't congratulate me yet. I don't. It's not
even getting that
yet.
far, because I'm sure a lot of people put in for this thing. So, congrats on that part.
No, surprisingly, no. It was only.
God damn it! Take the fucking compliment, Eldurrino.
Sorry. No. Otherwise, this week, just been trying to do auditions where I can.
Yeah.
And trying to come up with a new idea for a project, which I threw to the people that I thought would be interested in the project, and nobody said anything.
Oh my God, relax. As you can see, a lot of the people in there have had very busy weeks.
No, I know. So yeah, that's it. That's all that's been going on.
Welcome, Burnham. Thanks so much for being here. I see you over there in chat. For me personally, I'm still recovering from strep throat. It hit me a lot harder than I thought it did. Picking up back on work and everything. Haven't really done any voice acting at all. I do have a table read today at 3 PM PST for the Energies project over there at Hunningham, which is an original project. Looking forward to doing it. And then I need to do Citadel Volume 3 for the Star Wars audio group. So I've got some busy time ahead of me. I'm just waiting for my throat to stop giving me trouble. And then I've got to do also a retake for Matt's stuff, because I went in there super hopped up on medication, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, Doc Adam, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. We're having some cam issues with you, but that's fine. I'm fine with PowerPoint version of Doc. It looks great on our side.
I think I look great. I mean,
yeah. So before we get into the whole interview thing, I'd like to ask, how was your week? How has your week been?
My week's been pretty good. Thanks for asking. I got a call back for a podcast, and so I've been prepping for that. And I also do audiobook narration, so I've been narrating some chapters of this book, and also working on getting my commercial demo.
Ooh.
Getting all that lined up so I can go ahead and record that and get that out into the world. And so it's been pretty positive this week.
Very nice. Very nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's talk about your journey into voice acting in itself. So how did you get into voice acting?
Well, the long story short was I got guilt tripped by a 15-year-old.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, I know how that feels. I know exactly how that feels.
Yeah, I assume so. Dealing with teenagers, that's God's work. So I was part of an online group years ago, and I started just doing some joke promos for different things like, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
Nice.
No? Yeah. Well, if you can find them, tell them to watch this with the group at 10, 7, I just started making stuff up.
Nice.
And and so people thought it was funny, and then somebody actually asked me to read "Go the Fuck to Sleep."
Oh yay!
Yes.
I did that, and then I improvised like a 3-minute interlude in there where I just cried about the fact that I never got to do anything. I never got any me time. It was fun, and I sent it out there. I was using this crappy, like my iPhone, microphone and all that. And the daughter of a friend of mine found a casting call she thought I'd be good for. And she sent it to me and said, well, would you please try out for this? I really think you should. And I'm like, do I want to be a jerk to a 15-year-old who thought enough of me to send me this thing? I'm like, fine. No, they're never going to cast me, whatever. And next thing I know, I get a call back for it, and I'm still recording on my iPhone.
Oh no.
And they're like, maybe you should get a better microphone. And I was like, oh, okay. What the hell? I went go out and buy a blue snowball, go and do the audition, and I get the part.
Nice.
And
Wow.
and then they said, oh, wait a minute, we made a mistake. You really don't need to get a new microphone. I'm like, well, I just spent $60. Damn it. I'm going to use this microphone.
Yeah.
And so I started trying out for various things. I started doing podcasts through places like Pendant Audio and, Project Ozma. Through Goose Thunder podcasts, and so I just started like kind of getting more and more acclimated to doing voice work, and gradually just started moving into paid roles. And I actually went full time as a voice artist about 6 months ago.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice. So let's very comprehensive. Love the way that we got there. But let me back you up a bit. So before the voice acting thing, did you have any background in acting or anything to that effect?
A little bit. I actually did radio commercials when I was 7.
Whoa.
And,
Okay.
and that's what turned me off of doing voice work, because I heard myself and I'm like, I sound like Linus from cartoons, and I'm like, I can't handle this. So I did that, and then I did like community theater and high school productions and things like that. But I didn't touch voice work for 30 years. And then I started doing this, and it was a lot of fun, and just gradually just started doing more and more of it, and found that I had a facility for accents. And finally, as I got into my 30s, my voice started to deepen and get a little bit more resonance. I used to teach in college, and my voice would crack. And the students thought that was hilarious.
Oh, no. Yeah, they're brutal. They're absolutely brutal. So at 7, you started, was it your parents that pushed you into it? How did you end up in a recording booth for that?
My mom was doing advertising for local stores and local groups. And she was like, you've got a really, cute voice. We should use that. And so she pulled me in, and I think we did about 2 or 3 commercials. And then I brought up the fact, I'm like, am I getting paid for this? Because, I don't work for free. And she's like, fine, I'll start giving you money. I'll give you like $5 a commercial, which, for a 7-year-old, that's
Yeah.
a bajillion dollars.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know the art of negotiation, and I'm still learning that. But yeah, so she basically was like, why don't you come in the booth with me, honey? And we'll record. And so we did it on the old-fashioned cassette tapes. And
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you came in already with you had we can say that you've got the most experience probably from all of us in the room for sure. So
Yeah.
Right.
Cockroach problem, sorry.
And when Burnham says is somebody had to voice Linus, which is very true. So somebody's
true.
Yeah, somebody's gonna make money off of that. Well, that's awesome. Okay, so you got to the point, and where did the casting call, the first one that you got from, was it Twitter? Was it Casting Call Club? Where did you see it?
It was off of Facebook.
Oh.
So somebody sent it to me off of Facebook, and I looked it up, and then I found it on Casting Call Club.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. I found that one thing that I found is in doing auditions is that if I contact the creator directly using the email rather than CCC or one of the other indirect sites, I have a higher success rate overall.
Oh,
because
True.
you kind of get a little bit more one-on-one time with them, whereas if you're on CCC, you send in your clip, and that clip is one clip among 1,000. And so I sent that in via the email address rather than going through the site, and that was great.
Cool.
Right. I mean, the sad thing is the podcast never appeared, but it was like my first lead role, and it was great.
And that was what I was.
We all have one like that.
Yeah, we all. Well, yeah. I mean, projects. We all get cast on projects. Very rarely they come out. So, it's good. So, it was for a podcast. This first one, was it a horror podcast? What kind of podcast are we talking?
It was kind of a mystery sci-fi kind of podcast. It was about two detectives in Great Britain, because my British accent is one of my most solid. No offense.
I see Renara nodding.
The British woman in the room is nodding. This is fine.
Yeah.
This is fine. Okay.
She approves.
So I approve. This middle-aged detective who gets thrown back in time 60 years to the year 1948, and he is with his partner, and they're trying to figure out what the hell happened, how they got back there, and what's going on, because they're being haunted by these different spirits, and it was a crazy ride. It would have been awesome to see it. But it was a fun concept overall.
You can still use the audio in your own demos. You still have it. Go for it.
Well,
show the world.
This is like this booth right here. This is the latest and greatest. It's a month old. We put this up right in the new year, and
nice.
It can't compare with the old audio quality. Like
redo it.
Yeah.
I want to hear this now. You've piqued my interest.
Okay. So we got to the point where you got your first role, which unfortunately didn't go very far, and you got your snowball. Where did you go from there?
So from there, let's see. I auditioned for a bunch of different things. My first paid role was for a YouTube production. It was called Serpents of the Heart, and I can actually say, I don't know if you've heard this one before, but my first paid role, I got fired from it.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
So one thing I've learned as a voice actor is you be humble, and you be grateful if you're cast, and you just roll with it if you get fired. The thing that happened was I auditioned, I got the part, and I got the lead role. And the character was really cool. It was this kind of fantasy recollection kind of thing, this archives kind of tale being told of a time long ago. And it actually, I was so nervous because I just was still getting used to being a voice actor. I'd been doing it for like a month. I delivered it like a friggin' chipmunk. It was just, my dialogue was so fast and so rapid. And the guy's like, okay, let's slow it down, calm down, and he does it. He records some of the lines to give me an example of what the cadence should be. And he had an absolutely epic voice. I'm like, oh my God, like, why aren't you doing this? Why am I doing this? You should be recording this. Why? I don't get it.
Imposter syndrome.
And so, I did it again, and he didn't like it. And then I did it a third time. He's like, listen, I think you're going to be really great one day, but you're not there yet. So I'm going to recast this part. I was like, well, you know, what are you going to do? I did my best. I recorded it 3 times and just kind of rolled with it. And then he came back to me and said, listen, I couldn't find anyone else, so I'm going to use some of your audio. So I am going to pay you for it. So I got fired, but then rehired indirectly. But you know, the bottom line is you just never know.
Yeah.
You know, you do your best, and sometimes it's not going to work out until it sort of does.
Well, I mean, so the door closed for a second, but you didn't burn the bridge, and that's a good opportunity and a good lesson.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you're leaving a gig for whatever reason, yeah, you always keep that door open because you never know when another one might pop up because of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have always found that you know, some of the things I've found as a voice actor is you never know where the next job's going to come from. So always be nice to everybody. Always make sure that you leave, you know, a good impression, and then also just when you audition, the roles you least expect are the ones you're going to get cast in.
Absolutely.
I find that the most enriching roles are the ones that I didn't expect to get cast in at all. So,
well, okay. Yeah. So you're at the because we've said this before a lot. We start with the Blue Yetis. A lot of people here. I had one a long time ago, although I never recorded with it. I did have a Blue Yeti. And we've talked to a lot of VOs. So at what point did you upgrade from the Blue Yeti, and what did you move on to?
Well, let's see. I had the blue Snowball for about 2.5 years, and I'll say it was great. I lucked out in that my recording space was really, really good. A friend of mine who was already a professional voice actress had said to me at the time, you know, you could get booked right now based on the audio quality. I'm like, I'm using this shitty like $60 mic. She's like, it doesn't matter. Your quality's awesome. I ended up recording at least 10 or 12 podcast roles, and I did 3 audiobooks.
Wow.
On that. And then after I did my 3rd audiobook, which was 14 hours long.
Oh my Lord.
After I did that one, yeah, I prayed for death after that one was done. It was before I learned the idea of punch and roll recording. And so I did that one. And then my in-laws were like, listen, you've been doing this for a while. Your mic sucks. And we can tell it sucks. We need something better. So they got me an AT 2020, an Audio-Technica 2020 plug and play. And I used that for 1.5 years. And then I upgraded what I have now, which is the AT 4040, which is the XLR. So,
So I've got a question. Where did the roles for the audiobooks come from? If that makes sense, because we use a lot of sites like voices.com, Casting Call, and all that jazz. Like, ACX. Where did the ball start rolling for you in that regard?
I looked at ACX.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, and it was. I mean, the distribution of wealth there is not the greatest, and like, you know, voice actors have to do all the mastering, they have to do all the recording, and you know, they're doing most of the work. They get 20% of the profit.
Yeah.
Then the creator gets 20%, and then Amazon takes 60%.
Oh my gosh.
So
okay.
But it's good experience because you can learn. You get comfortable with the narration style. You get comfortable with doing different voices. You know, I was getting to the point where I could kind of switch in real time.
Okay.
Because I've heard of that. That site is pretty strict with quality.
What's that?
I've heard that site's pretty strict with quality, that they really like, so especially since you have to master everything, that they really want like your audio to sound really, really good.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, specs, they have very stringent specs, and they now have a system that will monitor the quality of your audio as you submit.
Oh, wow.
In the bad old days, it used to be you would upload it and just pray, because it was a great system, because you would submit, you know, 20 tracks. And then, oh, wait a minute, I need to update a track. And you would upload that track, and then the page would refresh, and it would revert back to the old audio, and you had no idea. I pissed off one author like 4 times because I was like, I updated this audio. She's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, yes, I did. And then we figured out that I had to pray that the page I never had to refresh anything, because it just went screwy. And now that it monitors you and tells you, well, your audio's messed up, it's not loud enough, or it's too soft, and and then the quality control team will come in and say, you got bumps, you got clicks, you got other stuff. You should have taken care of this. Go to it.
At least they tell you.
Kind of, yeah, but still,
it's stringent and strict. But
so this 14-hour audiobook that you put in, how long? Because I mean, obviously, you're not going to do it in 14 hours. How long did that take you?
Oh, it took me months. It took me months to do, because I was using simple tools. I was using that Blue Snowball and Audacity, which it's primitive. It's effective, but it's primitive, and I was still learning how to master everything. I was also going through a really difficult time personally. I lost my father died all of a sudden, just out of the blue on Christmas Eve. Well, he had a stroke and then passed away later. But I had that going on. I had knee surgery. We had multiple deaths in the family. It was living hell. So on top of this, I lost my voice and couldn't finish the damn audiobook. So it went from October to about March.
Yikes. 5 months.
And so normally you can turn that out in a month or two. I mean, that's the normal time. But when you're in hell time, it takes a lot longer. But yeah.
And then during this time, you're talking to the people at ACX and the author, or?
ACX really doesn't care. If you're late on a book, they're not going to come after you. So generally, the best thing you can do is, if you are going to be late, if there's an issue of some kind, contact the author and just say, listen, are you okay if we take this extra time because there's an issue that we need to sort out, or I need to do more retakes, or there's something going on. And generally, they're really nice because they know that you're working hard and you're doing your best. And sometimes things just happen. So the author was very, very sympathetic and very supportive, and we got it out, and it was pretty successful. So
wow, yeah,
glad to hear that. Though.
Yeah,
I'm glad the work and the effort paid off. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah. I stopped doing audiobooks for about 1.5 years after that because I just was like, oh god, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I do not blame you.
So has most of your work been for audiobooks, or do you, what is it, character now? Because I know you're working for commercial stuff coming up next.
So I kind of do everything.
Okay.
I'm good friends with a voice actor whose advice was always try everything. Try whatever you can, see what your voice is geared for, and then run with that. And so I have a good narration voice. So I've done about 6 audiobooks. I'm on my 7th, and then I've done a lot of character work over the years. I think I've probably done about 40 to 50 podcasts.
Nice.
And voiced multiple characters over time. And then recently, I started getting coaching, and they were like, you should consider doing commercials because you've got that very solid kind of baritone. And so I started doing that, and you never know what's going to happen when you're doing coaching. You could screw around and just suddenly find out that you have a voice you never thought you had.
Right. We've talked about coaching here on the shows before. How did you come across your coach? Did you hunt them out, or?
So one thing that I've done is I also take classes and workshops.
Okay.
And so I use places like Real Voice LA and Sound On Studio and groups like that. And one of the commercial workshops I was doing, the leader for that workshop said, I am doing coaching, and I do work with this studio to produce commercial demos and character demos, things like that. And I was like, I really want to get my commercial demo out there. And so we started working together in November, and her opinion is like, you're just about ready. So
nice.
Took me about three months.
Awesome.
So this is a fairly recent change on the coaching thing, and you were just doing classes before?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'd gotten some scattered coaching from friends of mine who were pro voice actors and actresses, and stuff like that, just kind of one-shot deals. But getting the more constant coaching over time, you get more acclimated to the voice style. One of the things that I have as a narrator, I have very accurate diction, which for a commercial doesn't work. If you're really hyper accurate, they're like, you sound like an announcer, you sound like you got a stick up your ass, or you just don't sound relatable. And so you've got to learn to deprogram yourself and get away from that, get away from the narration delivery, and then, be able to be very, very, very relatable. This is the road to my family cabin. This is my family, and this is the only car I trust to take us there. Just go from that.
Yeah.
Just kind of, you got to teach yourself to switch gears more quickly.
Yeah, very, very good advice. Absolutely. What role has been your favorite so far? Which one sticks in your mind and you're super, super proud to be in?
Let's see. I have to say, one of my favorites was I recently played a character named Tiny, the elf, on a Christmas series called The Jolliest Elf. And this guy was basically like, in the casting call, we're looking for someone who is a Simon Cowell-esque judge.
Oh no!
And the casting call was, we want you to improvise in character and tell us about who you are. And that was all the information we had. We didn't know that it was about Christmas, and so I improvised the same. I'm like, hello, my name is Simone Cowell. I'm a 100-year-old vampire, and I have been judging singing competitions for 1400 years. I was bitten by a vampiric singing contestant who wanted to be a vampire. No, wait a minute. He was a vampire who wanted to be a singing contestant. It didn't matter. Either way, he sucked. And,
well, yeah. Okay.
I had fun with it. Yeah, the best roles are the ones you just have fun with. You don't care what the result is. You just have a good time doing it. And I sent it in, and they were like, "We love it. We want you to improvise. In character. We're going to be doing this. You're going to be improvising as we do it." So all my lines are improvised for that character. Everything was just made up on the spot. It was a lot of fun. Very collaborative.
Oh wow!
Yikes!
That sounds amazing. Actually, that sounds
it does.
That seems like it would be a lot of when it comes to the improv stuff, I know a lot of us are really, really scared of it. Is that something that comes naturally to you, or is that something that you practiced?
It's something that I have a pretty natural feel for it. My family, we're all smart asses, and so generally the coin of the realm was being able to come up with the last word or the most witty retort, and so I really had to learn that to survive. And
yeah,
I can do the comebacks with the best of them, and from there I just started, doing different improv, sessions with. I do a podcast called Delvers. It's going to be coming out sometime this year, probably, and it's completely unscripted. I play this hero who goes to conquer a dungeon, this infinite dungeon, only to discover that it's already been conquered and turned into a bar and grill.
I love it.
His dreams are shattered, and so he's got to figure out what to do, and he ends up getting a job at the bar and grill, and so I had to learn how to improvise more there, because that's long form. We were doing 30-40 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And but yeah, it's a natural thing to some extent, but you really do need to practice it and get comfortable with the basic rules, like always saying yes, and just finding ways to be funny and not always do one-liners, because you got to give to the other actors.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, all right. So, wow, you've been a busy person, and you just went full. What made you change your mind to go from doing your 9 to 5 to going full time in voice acting, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, totally. For me, it was so I've had a really weird work history. I was an archaeologist for a while.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh.
So yeah, I that's where the doc comes from. I have a PhD in archaeology.
Whoa.
No shit.
That is
Wow.
awesome.
Very interesting for sure.
I rebuilt an empire for my doctoral dissertation. That was a lot of fun.
Wow.
And,
That is really cool. Sorry.
So so what I ended up doing was I went from being an archaeologist, and then my son was on the way, and so I got a regular job as a research associate at university. Moved on to a community college, and I was the assistant director for institutional research and effectiveness, which takes an hour and a half to say, and it's not as cool as saying I was an archaeologist.
Right.
But I did that for a couple of years, and I got kind kind of bored, and the pandemic hit, and I was just like, you know what, I want to change. I really want to change. And my wife looked at me one day and said, you know, we could just have you go full time as a voice actor, and you know, I'm in good shape where I am. We can do this. I was like, are you shitting me? And she said, no, we don't need your salary. You're superfluous. You're surplus to design. And I was like, okay, thanks, honey. And
backhanded compliment. I get you. Nice.
Well, so right after I got my PhD, I was talking with my wife, and she referenced someone who was an architect, and she was married to a doctor. And I was like, oh wow, that's really like us, huh? You know, you're an architect, I'm a doctor. She goes, no, he's a real doctor.
Oh no!
Oh, really? Do you really want to sleep on the couch tonight? I don't care. That's fine. It's comfy.
Wow. So obviously the switch going from part-time hobbyist, getting paid, professional hobbyist, to full-time, it's, I mean, your day must have completely swapped. I mean, do you keep an eye out? Where, are you looking at Twitter? Are you looking at, do you have like an agent? How did that come about?
So I'm looking everywhere.
Okay.
You know, one thing that happens, I mean, you think you're totally prepared for the switch, but you know, it's always good to really lay down the groundwork, figure out what direction you're going in. And then from there, you know, start to build things up. And so, you know, these are lessons that I learned as I was going along.
Mm-hmm.
I look at all kinds of sites. I look everywhere. You know, I look at Twitter. I look at you know, Casting Call Club every once in a while. I'll look at Facebook. I sign up for Backstage so that I can get more wide-ranging roles. I look at, you know, ACX, Find Away Voices, stuff like that. I mean, I look all over the place, and if I find something that's really interesting, then I go for it. You know, agents or management companies or something that would come later.
Okay.
You know, after I've got some more credits. You know, I've got credits in, you know, video games and in, well, sort of a credit. It never got released, but I have credits in video games and audiobooks and podcasts and all that, but no commercial stuff. So I want to start getting a couple of those under my belt before going to an agent, and then, you know, just gradually building up from there. So
good. You have a plan. It looks like you have a path that you want to go through. That's awesome. And you're setting those goals as you're going. You're not saying, hey, AAA game by summer. I love that you're setting very measurable goals. It's very cool.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, is that, you know, if you know, voice actors should really just look at it and say, I want to book a commercial, I want to book 3 commercials. I mean, giving yourself something tangible and something that's doable. You're not going to go into a AAA game right off the bat. The complexity of it is just mind-boggling. So, you know, you've got to build up to that. And so just, you know, be realistic in your goals and just be positive, because it's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing this 4.5 years. And I just went professional 6 months ago, but you know, it was a gradual buildup of experience and passion. So,
gotcha. And the booth that you're currently standing in, wonderful booth, by the way. Did you find those plans online, or how did you come about putting it together?
So that's another fun story. My wife woke up one morning and said, you know, I had a dream that I built you a booth.
Ooh.
So
that's right, architect. Yes. Okay.
And I was like, are you shitting me? She goes, no, let's go take some measurements. And so we took measurements in the closet here, and so I ordered the panels off of Amazon.
Okay.
They were like $40 total. And
still there?
I think he dropped for a second.
We'll wait.
Shelf up top for a monitor, and then I have heavy, you know, soundproof curtains here.
So, Doc, not to cut you off, we lost you there for a second. So, after the $40 panels at Amazon, keep going.
So, we took the shelving that we had and we repurposed it. So, I've got a desk, and then I got a platform for the monitor.
Ooh.
And then I've got the heavy soundproof curtains. And then I got, you know, rubber padding here on the ground, and so it's really great quality.
How much of an improvement did you see from your regular recordings on that mic to now with the added booth info?
Oh, it's 10 times better.
Nice.
The clarity is there. You can catch the resonance. The other thing is that my old setups used to be sitting because I could only, I had limited space, so I had to sit down. And now I can stand up, so it's easier to get into the character. It's easier to emote, and then I've got more power, so I can stand a distance from the mic right here and still project and get everything in there. And the overall quality is just fantastic. So no complaints.
Very cool. Very cool.
Oh yeah.
So if you're in the middle of recording a book and you have this type of audio upgrade, you're going to see a difference in your audio. Is that going to affect your outcome for your project? Do you have to start over?
Not usually, because the quality that you have when you start, you do want to try and make it consistent,
right?
But there are ways to process it, and you can kind of make it at least somewhat similar. They're not going to ding you every time because your voice changes from day to day. So sometimes your voice can be a little more nasally because the weather changed, or just whatever. And so they're forgiving about slight changes. I think that the main thing is if you've recorded 90% of the book and then you get a new setup, just use the old setup to finish it. Because
smart.
Otherwise, it's going to be annoying for them at the end. They're going to remember that your sound quality changed, and they're going to be pissed off about it. So, but I was using blankets and pillow forts and all that. I mean, and I was doing all kinds of really cool stuff. And so, a new voice actor, that's totally fine. This is the kind of thing you do when you want to really enhance your game.
Understand. I think all of us here have a booth, and I mean, Renara is actually sitting in it. We've seen Eldurrino standing in it. We see Misty's in the background. Mine's in the background too. So you're in good company when it comes to that stuff. We've all been there. We've all done that upgrade.
Yeah, mine is still the only one sitting, I think, at the minute, because I think the rest of you have standing ones because you're all minted. I don't know.
You sound great, Renara. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Yeah.
I hope.
So, Doc, a question that I usually ask all of our participants more towards the end is if you saw yourself right before you started this journey, not 7-year-old you, but much older or in the future, is there any advice you would give to yourself?
I would say, for me, I think personally, it would be, don't limit yourself. At first I was like, I really should just, kind of work my way up through the ranks. I don't have experience, so I shouldn't go for a lead role, or like that was kind of the philosophy. Like I should put in my dues and then gradually I'll get better and better work. It's like, no, you need to be ambitious and you need to audition for whatever strikes your fancy, and you never know you're gonna throw at the wall and what's gonna stick. So just be ambitious, go for whatever it is that you really think would be interesting, and just don't worry about the consequences. The worst they can say is, nah, we're not going to cast you, or you hear nothing. So
90% of the time, you're going to hear nothing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Now, would that also? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I actually got a rejection letter for a podcast I'd auditioned for 3 weeks after the audio was due for the podcast. And so they were like, yeah, we want to record in 10 days. And so the audio is due on November 23rd. I got a rejection notice on December 2nd. I'm like, no shit. I mean, why are you sending this? I would have been fine with the silence. This makes no sense.
Yeah.
But you get all kinds of rejection notices. Or none.
Or none, exactly. Especially, yeah. Go ahead, Eldurrino, because I know you've got experience here.
No. I had nothing to say.
Oh, sorry. Fair enough. Now, would that advice also hold for somebody new for voice acting? Because I mean, if you started a couple of years ago, starting up now is different.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, you never know. I think if you're ambitious in what you're doing as a voice actor, you're going to push yourself to try new voices. You may find that there are voices you didn't know you had in you. A lot of what I had was like, I have this voice, but I don't feel comfortable using it, so I'm going to cloak it in an accent. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to be a Scotsman. I'm going to go use this accent all the time. And I felt more comfortable for the longest time using something to hide my voice. And I was limiting myself to just the things where I could use my accents, or just there were certain things that certain limitations I was putting on myself. a new voice actor can go out and give these things a shot. You never know. But you do have to temper your expectations. I mean, if you're new and you can't expect to get a huge lead role in a podcast and just like you can't expect to be perfect right out of the bat. You can't expect to have everything go. I'm losing my train of thought here.
Oh, you're fine.
You're good.
Yeah, but I basically you set your expectations high, but at the same time, don't be afraid of getting rejected.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, fortune favors the bold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get out there and give it a shot, and then if you get it, great. If you don't, you've learned something. I mean, getting in the booth and doing the audition is 90% of the battle. After that, you're just waiting to hear it or not waiting to hear it, and the more you're willing to get in the booth, the more resilient you get for rejection. I think I've gotten rejected for like 70 different roles in the last few months because that's the gig. You're learning and you're auditioning, and it's part of the great circle of life as a voice actor.
Yeah.
Right. And then you get that one role and you're like, oh my God, this is like the elixir of life. I feel so alive and so loved. And then that job's over and you got to find something else.
You got to start over.
But
I will.
Someone actually said this. Oh,
go ahead, Missy. No, go ahead. We'll come back.
No, that something that I saw on TikTok specifically, because Brittany from Saturday Morning TV posted some videos about a long, angry email she received from someone that was like, I didn't get a call back. I didn't get a response from this. I expected a response to know that whether I got in or not because I got good feedback. And someone replied to that and said something that it's tough to hear, but it is actually true. They said auditioning is the job and getting cast is the benefit. That's really how it feels because you spend most of your time just auditioning and putting yourself out there. So you have to expect that so that you don't get disappointed when you constantly get that rejection because it will happen.
Exactly. And the thing is that the more you audition, the easier it is to send and forget because you can't remember what role you auditioned for and then you get rejected for it. You're like, I don't even remember this. I'm fine. Or you get cast and then you're like, oh, wait a minute. What role was this? I don't remember. So, but the more you do, the more resilient you get, the more irons you have in the fire, the greater chances of getting cast. And it's just overall a much better way to do it. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
And be consistent about it too. Cause I took a pretty substantial break from auditioning altogether because I was too busy working on this project. And I come back to it. I get that email about a game that's being developed and they really want to have me audition for it. So I did like 7 characters and I have not stopped thinking about it because I took that big break of not doing any auditions. And all of a sudden I see that come in and they're like, oh, awesome. They really want me to audition for it. I'm checking my email like every 2 hours. Hey, did I get a response yet? You have to be consistent about it. And then you'll eventually do the send it and forget it thing.
So yeah, consistency, building a thick skin, all is very, very important. We've all had our doubts, I'm sure. I've been very vocal about mine, and it's part of the thing, and you just got to learn to roll with it and get used to it. So yeah.
Yeah, and one thing I will say is that people who are having trouble with it, if they're having trouble with the rejection or they're struggling with it, the best thing to do is talk to someone about it. Get it out of your system. If you talk about the problem, it becomes more realistic. It becomes more manageable. I've actually my Twitter DMs are usually open to voice actors. I've had people contact me and just vent about their frustrations, and I'll talk with them about it because I just think that it's better to get it out of your system rather than hold on to it. Because I've seen people melt down and just ruin any chance of furthering their careers because they're so angry and frustrated and they feel so rejected. So, definitely talk about the frustration if it's starting to build up.
Well, it's very kind of you to offer that. That's good to know. It's always good to have somewhere to go. I want to go back to chat real quick. Walter, Renara says that I sit for some things I record, narration, audiobook, tasks, etc., and stand for others, characters, more energetic stuff. So whatever works, right?
Yeah.
And then Burnham says he's got a thick consistency. Thank you for sharing that, Burnham.
Lovely. And I'll leave it up to him to say whether or not the Scottish was good or not. I am English, thus I have no authority over that.
Yeah. Burnham's the Scot side. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do
not mind me. I'm just finding your Twitter, Dom.
Immediately.
You did it wrong.
I'm already following, so I'm good.
For two.
Yeah. Eldurrino Eldurrino has a question that he always asks our guests.
Oh yes. Who would win in a fight between a taco and a grilled cheese sandwich?
Well, now you changed it, but okay, that's a good one.
Wow, that's really a question that philosophers have been pondering for at least 20 minutes.
I figured with your PhD credentials, you have a good authority to speak on this topic.
Well, I mean, you got to think really carefully about what's going on. Is this a soft taco or a hard shell taco?
Ooh, good question. Hard shell. Okay.
Hard shell. Okay, because I think that the hard shell is going to be more vulnerable to the grilled cheese sandwich because the grilled cheese is gooey. And so if it breaks that hard shell, then it's going to stick to the cheese, and then it's going to tear them apart. So I don't really prefer grilled cheese. I love tacos, but I think the taco might be fighting for its life in this epic hypothetical battle.
I love it.
Nice.
A thorough analysis.
There's nothing hypothetical about it. This is happening outside of my apartment as we speak.
Really?
Whatever's left,
awesome.
You can scrape it off the floor and have it for dinner.
I see the girlfriend has upgraded the cooking, so this works out well.
Yes. With a question mark?
Yeah, it works for me.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Doc, any closing questions for Doc before we do our sign-offs? I know Eldurrino already, not the one I was expecting, but it works out for me.
Oh, I can.
You want to go back to the other question?
Help.
Okay.
Yeah. So my normal question is, what is your favorite pizza topping?
Thank you.
My favorite pizza topping. I got to go with sausage.
Ooh.
I mean that makes the pizza. As a kid, whenever they had sausage pizza in the cafeteria, it was the greatest thing ever. So yeah, I got to go with sausage.
The rectangular one.
Oh yeah. Because
nice.
I mean, that's the thing is that you had these shitty cheese pizza or pepperoni all the time, and then every once in a while they'd have that beautiful sausage.
Mm-hmm.
So it would break the monotony.
My favorite part of that was taking like a wad of napkins, maybe an inch or two thick, and then just dabbing it on top of the pizza to remove all of the grease. Because it was horrible. Like you literally picked up this sopping wet mess of pizza, and you're like, I want to eat this, but then you just remove it with napkins,
dry it off, and
it's
then fold
pretty
it like
good.
a taco, and then eat it.
Yes, thank you. Someone who understands.
I have.
You have.
Okay, favorite ancient civilization to research.
Oh, well, see, I did a couple. I researched the Maya, and I worked at an archaeological site that got buried in a volcanic eruption.
Ooh.
Oh, that's cool.
It was cool. We dug in, and we actually made plaster molds of plants that had died 1,400 years ago. So we were able to pull them out. We identified the species because the resolution was so good that I mean, the site's just mind blowing. Okay. So I love the Maya. My research was actually on the Purépecha of Western Mexico. So I actually looked at their political and social and economic ties, and just kind of said, okay, here's the whole hierarchy of people. Here are all the different statelets and all that. And so I rebuilt a population or an empire of 2 million people.
That is amazing.
Wow,
that's so cool.
Tons of
the nerd in me is the history nerd in me is very happy right now.
I love that you're so humbled that you didn't even mention that you have a PhD in archaeology until halfway through this podcast.
Yeah. Right?
You're like, you're the Indiana Jones of voice acting. Like, what the fuck?
I
you didn't start off with, so the reason I'm called Doc is because I have a PhD.
Yeah, I mean, Doc is the one concession to 8 years in grad school finishing this PhD. But I know that it's it makes me an expert in West Mexican archaeology, but it's a fun story now. So.
Oh yeah.
Did you pick up any Spanish along the way too, or is it just the pronunciation parts?
Sí, puedo serme comprendido.
Ah,
Pero
poquito.
no hay muchas oportunidades para practicar mi español.
Entendido.
So-
Muchas gracias, amigo.
Muy
Se lo
bien.
agradezco.
Gracias.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and sign off here. Thank you so much for being here. Those that are here, or those that are that watch on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts, thanks so much. If you have any questions, anybody that you want us to interview, if you want us to listen to your audio files, your audition tapes, or even your demo reels, go ahead and email them to us, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. That's ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. Thank you. This is wonderful. Doc, let me say, best educated voice actor that we've ever had on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome to have you. Renara, I will allow you to do your sign-off.
Well, I will attempt to do my sign off. At the minute, it's kind of a bit jarbled and garbled and all over the place, but I have the wherewithal to get to know a few of it. So the first is learn to rest whenever you feel burnout getting close. Learn to take those steps. Don't stop. Learn to rest, don't stop, keep going. You do not need permission to create things unless it's for monetary value, and enjoy it and have fun with it, because if you aren't enjoying it, then what's the point? Also, if you have an idea and you haven't started making it yet, make it! Get out there, do the things, be creative, and just enjoy it. And that's as much as you're getting today.
I love it. No, it works for me so much. Fair warning, Misty, you're up for next week. So you're up for intro. And thanks so much, everybody. Thanks for everything. We will catch you all next time. And bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Drink water.
There it is.